let you. No, as a drill instructor, you have to put on a face that is might not necessarily mean how you feel, but you got a certain protocol of what's got to get done. You know, as a drill instructor, you are required to train. So you're talking about 3 men training 72 upwards of 75 kids that are between the ages of 18 to 29, 27. So you got 3 people training those guys, so you got to be really on. You got to be physically fit. You mentally got to be tough, because when a kid is crying, you don't have time to sit there and put his shoulder on your head, his head on your shoulders. You got to kind of look at him and tell him to shut up and get back to it. You know, doesn't mean that you don't care about him. It just means that at that point, I don't have time to deal with your whininess, per se. You know, you don't get to sleep much. There was no times. I remember I would get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and not go home until 10 at night, and try to have a family, a wife, kids, try to go to sleep, and then get back up and do it again the next day. So you're talking about working off of 3.5 to 4 hours of sleep, and you're literally running all day long from 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning until 10 o'clock at night. It's a lot on your body. So but it's a wonderful job. You love it. You know, you change, when you see the difference in the way a young man will come out, or woman. We train men, but where I was at, we had women also. It's kind of like you building a robot. Not that we call them robots, but you got your hands touching them, and you make the difference on how they're going to be, sometimes for the rest of their life. Because that's what happened with me. I mean, I went to boot camp. Like I said, I never thought about joining the military, ever. When the recruiters used to come to my school, I never once talked to them, not one time. As a matter of fact, when they came to my school, I went the other way, because I didn't want to talk to them. I didn't want to have nothing to do with them. I didn't want to see them. I didn't want to talk about the military. But I went down to the recruiting office, and the day that I went to boot camp, I already knew that I wasn't going to leave. So sometimes you just know. When I grew up in North Carolina, you got to understand that there was a lot of things going on in life. Segregation was there. We were segregated, but there was still mindsets of people that if you're black and white, you are not together. So when you see black and white couples together nowadays, which is a great thing, it's an opportunity for people to be with the person they want to be with. Whereas many years ago, that was not typical. And if you were, then it probably wasn't a good thing back then. You know, you had people, you know, my friends was white, you know, but being friends and being in a relationship with friends is 2 different things. You know, they might let you in the house and be happy with you and love you to death, and they genuinely loved you until it become part of you. Now you're dealing with their kids or family. You know, I say I grew up in North Carolina. Actually, literally, from the time I started driving tractors at 6 years old, and I started working in the farm at 13 years old, and pretty much paid everything for myself from 13 years on up. My mom and dad, them never paid for anything because I worked on the farm. So I paid for myself from the time I was 13 till the time I went join the military. Cropping tobacco, working in hay, you know, picking cucumbers, cotton, literally. You know, my grandfather was a farmer, so I rode on the back of the disc, which is not a good idea to do, but back then I didn't know. I would ride on the back of the tractor while he's discing a field. So if anybody here know what discing a field is, that means that they got sharp blades that'll turn up the dirt, and I could have easily fell from there and I wouldn't be here today. But back then you don't know that. The KKK was real. It's actually literally true. There was a lot of that back there in that time. I mean, I remember seeing rallies in the woods. You know, even when I joined the military, I was first stationed at Camp Lejeune during my job school, where I lived at to going back to my base was probably about 2.5 hours. And I remember driving those 2.5 hours, and I never wanted to drive in the dark. You know, I never wanted to drive those 2.5 hours in the dark because there was no lights on the road. It was just, if anybody ever heard of what a country mile is, a country mile is a long mile, and it's nothing but trees on both sides. So you didn't ever want your car to break down, because you didn't know what was going to happen. You didn't know if you were going to be seen again. It's all true stories. You know, we've seen rallies, so yeah. And I remember one particular time that me and my brother went to a store. Excuse me. And this was after I came out of the military. So I was kind of a little bit different already. But I remember taking my little brother to a store, and the lady behind the counter, white lady, didn't even want to serve him. And it wasn't a good situation. I could never live in North Carolina because I'm not the right person to live there. I'm kind of a little different, not in a bad way, but I don't accept ignorance. I don't like ignorance, and I don't accept it.
Hi, my name is Andres Rivera.
Hi, my name is Cesar Polito.
Hi, my name is Jose Gomez.
Hi, my name is Anthony Mendoza.
Hi, my name is Alan Candelas.
Hi, my name is Nelson Castaneda.